Welcome to What the Tech, the show where we slice through the marketing hype to get you news you can actually use. So today, we're diving into the absolute frenzy for enterprise AI. Everyone's talking about a revolution, but we found something else. Behind the scenes, a lot of companies might be building a complete and total disaster.
You cannot escape it, right? AI is going to revolutionize every business. But, when you talk to the experts, people like Dorian Smiley, they're telling a very different story. This quote here says it all. There's no playbook. The honest-to-goodness truth is, most companies are just flying blind. And that pressure has kicked off a full-blown gold rush. It's this massive fear of missing out, and it's pushing companies to adopt AI at this breakneck speed, whether they're actually ready for it or not. But what if this big rush is leading them straight off a cliff? Well, that's kind of the thing. We're starting to see some really serious cracks forming in this whole AI foundation. And it turns out that the AI-generated code that looks good, on the surface, it can be profoundly, fundamentally broken underneath. This right here is our first big aha moment. See, we've always been taught to trust our automated checks, these things called unit tests. They just confirm that little pieces of code do what they're supposed to. But as Smiley points out, those tests, they just can't catch the deeper, more subtle flaws in AI-generated code. So yeah, it might pass the basic checks, but that doesn't mean it works correctly in the real world. And here is the absolute core of the problem. So many companies are celebrating what I'm calling hype metrics, stuff like how many lines of code the AI is churning out. But in reality, more code is a liability, not an asset. It's just more places for bugs to hide. The real measures of great engineering are about stability and speed. How often can you deploy new stuff? How often do those deployments fail? The AI is just juicing the wrong stats. Okay, so this isn't just some abstract theory. We have a perfect and, frankly, a shocking real-world example of what happens when you focus on those bogus hype metrics. It's a story about a database, and believe me, it is a total dumpster fire. So, let's ask the question. What really happens when a team uses AI to rewrite a critical piece of software? I mean, it passes all the tests, it looks completely fine on the surface, but deep down, it's just fundamentally wrong. Well, an experiment was run to do exactly that. They took SQL, which is this famously reliable database that is used in like every phone and computer on the planet, and they had an AI rewrite it in a new programming language. And at first, it looks great. The code looked right, it passed the unit tests, everything seemed to check out. But here's where it starts to get ugly. The AI-generated version was nearly 4 times larger than the original human-written one. So it's more bloated, way more complex, and a nightmare to maintain. But that's not even the worst part. The performance was 2,000 times worse. Just let that sink in for a second. Not twice as bad, not 20 times worse, 2,000. For a database, a piece of software where performance is absolutely everything, this isn't just a failure. It's basically a brick. It's completely non-viable. And that's the final verdict. All that work, all that code, all that money spent generating it, completely and utterly worthless. A total loss. This just highlights a massive risk. Companies are pouring money into tools that produce work so bad it literally has to be thrown in the trash. Okay, let's pause here. If you're finding this kind of no-hype analysis useful, now would be an awesome time to hit that like button and subscribe to What the Tech. We are all about bringing you more news you can actually use. And seriously, let us know what you think about this AI craze down in the comments.
All right, so this clearly isn't just a technical problem. This is a massive business risk. Bad code is only the beginning. The real fallout, the really scary stuff, happens when this gets baked into corporate workflows.
So in a lot of big firms, the internal incentives are they're fundamentally broken. You've got partners who are judged on revenue, so they push AI to do more work with fewer people. You've got associates who just want to get their work done faster. And the result? Nobody has a real incentive to slow down and actually review what the AI is spitting out. Quality control just gets tossed out the window. And this creates a terrifying chain of risk. So first, a company deploys some flawed AI system. Then, that system makes a huge mistake, costing millions, maybe trashing the company's reputation. A lawsuit follows naturally. But here's the kicker. When the company goes to its insurer, the claim gets denied. Why? Because buried in the policy is a little carve-out for AI-related screw-ups. Which brings us to a really sharp question, doesn't it?
If this technology is so great, so revolutionary, why are the people whose entire business is calculating risk, the insurance companies, scrambling to avoid covering it? It's because they see a catastrophic problem that for some reason the rest of the business world is just sprinting towards.
So, what does all this mean for you? Let's get to the practical stuff. This is your AI reality check. Clear, actionable guidance based on what's really happening out there, not just the hype.
Okay, for the engineers out there on the ground, stop obsessing over lines of code. Please measure the metrics that reflect real-world stability. You've got to implement performance benchmarks to catch disasters like that SQLite rewrite before they ever get approved, and start tracking the true cost of these models. How many AI tokens or processing credits are you burning just to get one piece of code that's actually usable?
And for the executives, you need to demand transparency. If one of your vendors is using AI, you need to know about it and you need an audit trail, period. You've got to fix your internal incentives to reward quality review, not just pure speed. And maybe most importantly, have a very, very serious conversation with your insurance provider now, before a major AI failure leaves your company completely exposed.
So, here's the bottom line. The AI hype has us celebrating all the wrong things. It is time to stop patting ourselves on the back for producing mountains of code and start measuring what actually matters: real-world quality, rock-solid performance, and tangible business results. Which leaves us with the big question, right? Is this whole rush toward enterprise AI creating the next great leap in productivity? Or are we just building the next generation of unmanageable technical debt, a digital dumpster fire that we're going to be paying to clean up for years and years to come? Thanks for watching.